This is a historic day for Palantir. New historic records have been shattered. It seems like Palantir has just won again. New contracts are on the way. Billions of dollars are on the line. And this might be the last piece to ignite that 1 trillion mark. What is happening? And what on earth am I even talking about? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. Palantir is showing some serious strength today. The price just kept pushing higher and higher, even hitting a brand new all-time high. And what's even more impressive? It didn't flinch. While other stocks were getting dragged down, Palantir stood tall and refused to drop. That alone says a lot. But we're just getting started. Because here's the crazy part. Palantir is scaling at lightning speed right now. Like, it honestly feels like Palantir just wins every single day. While others are slowing down or taking a hit, Palantir keeps rising. And now a lot of people are saying this stock might just go absolutely wild soon. There's a buzz forming, and it's getting louder. Some even believe this could be the beginning of a run that takes Palantir into a whole new league. Possibly even that trillion-dollar league. And at this point, it really doesn't feel like a wild dream anymore. But hold up. What's happening now is actually going out of control. Palantir just shattered multiple historic records. Back-to-back wins. Things no one even saw coming. And guess what? It's not just numbers on a chart anymore. Palantir just officially became one of the top 20 biggest US companies by market cap. That's huge. Yesterday, it overtook Home Depot, and now it's even passed Procter & Gamble. Think about that for a second. This isn't just a tech company with hype anymore. This is a legendary name being cemented right in front of our eyes. The kind of name people will look back on years from now and say, that was the moment. Now, before we dive deeper into what this all means long-term, let's just zoom into what's happening on the chart today, because it's big. One analyst broke it down, and what he found was shocking. Palantir is forming this massive rising wedge pattern, and it's still climbing. That kind of move doesn't happen unless there's real momentum behind it. The volume, the structure, the strength, it's all there. And when you combine that with the kind of headlines Palantir is making lately, yeah, this might just be the beginning. So if you're watching Palantir, now's not the time to blink. The moves we're seeing today are painting a picture of a stock that's not only defying the market, but rewriting what we thought was possible. So, what just happened? Well, something pretty big. Knightscope just announced a 2-year deal with Palantir Technologies. And they're not just working together. They're joining Palantir's FedStart program. Now, if you've never heard of FedStart, this is basically Palantir's express lane for companies that want to break into the US federal marketplace. And trust me, that's a huge deal. With this move, Knightscope gets full access to a high-security, government-grade digital environment. We're talking about high-level stuff. Basically, military-grade security clearance for software and data. And guess who's managing all of it? Yep, Palantir. They're not just providing the tools. They're running the whole infrastructure on cloud, fully accredited, fully monitored, and fully locked down to meet the strictest federal standards. That means Palantir is now the backbone for Knightscope's entire federal push. From compliance, to security, to ongoing audits, Palantir handles it all. Knightscope just has to focus on what they do best, deploying AI-powered robotics for public safety. But here's where it gets wild. This isn't just a one-off contract. This is part of a bigger national movement. The US government is actively pushing for a national robotics strategy, trying to boost innovation, reduce foreign reliance, and modernize federal operations. And who's right in the middle of that now? Palantir. Because every company like Knightscope that joins FedStart is basically expanding Palantir's influence across the entire federal tech space. This means Palantir isn't just selling software anymore. They're becoming the default operating system for secure, AI-powered, government-grade innovation. Every time another company joins FedStart, Palantir gets deeper into the system. More contracts, more data, more infrastructure, and more control. And that's how Palantir wins again. Because think about this. Knightscope is just one company. But Palantir is designed to bring in many. And every time Palantir locks in a company under this model, they get long-term revenue, strategic leverage, and deep integration into government systems. It becomes harder and harder to replace them. They're not just providing software, they're becoming critical infrastructure. And this is exactly the kind of blueprint that could push Palantir to that trillion-dollar mark. Why? Because the US federal government is one of the largest buyers in the world. And Palantir is now building the highway that companies will use to enter that market. They own the path, they own the rails, and they're monetizing every step of the way. So yeah, this Nightscope deal might seem small on the surface, but it's a massive signal. It shows that Palantir's FedStart strategy is working. It's gaining traction. And it's proving that Palantir doesn't just win big government contracts. They enable others to do it too, using their infrastructure. That's how ecosystems are built. And if Palantir becomes the go-to platform for every AI company trying to go federal, we're not just talking growth. We're talking dominance. And from here, that trillion-dollar milestone, it's starting to look a whole lot closer than most people realize. And we can actually see the effects right now. Palantir isn't just winning deals, it's dominating the entire market. In fact, Palantir is officially the best-performing stock in the S&P 500 for 2025. No one even comes close. Just look at these numbers. Over the last 6 months, Palantir has doubled, up more than 100%. And in the past year, this stock has skyrocketed by over 4 times its value. That's 447% growth in a single year. Absolute insanity. And it doesn't stop there. Palantir is igniting today with a massive surge in bullish momentum. We're talking about a $12 million call sweep explosion happening in the options market right now. What does that mean? Basically, traders are piling into bullish bets on Palantir, fast. In simple terms, there's a wave of short-term call options absolutely dominating puts by over $12 million just today. That's not small money. That's serious volume coming in with confidence. It means traders and institutions believe Palantir's price is heading higher, and soon. And you can actually see it happening. The stock is flying today up almost $4, or around 2.5% intraday. That kind of price action, backed by this level of call buying, is a clear signal. The bulls are in full control right now. And when you connect this to everything else going on, record-breaking all-time highs, the Nightscope deal, top 20 market cap status, best performer in the S&P this year, it all starts to paint a very clear picture. Palantir isn't slowing down. It's accelerating. Momentum is building on every front. Technical, fundamental, and now, options flow. And when you get all 3 of those lined up like this, that's when big moves happen. And right now, the energy around this stock is getting harder and harder to ignore. And even when you zoom out and look at the long term, Palantir is still looking really good. Just like one analyst said recently, it's only a matter of time before we see Palantir hit that 1 trillion mark. And honestly, he might be right. Because as of today's market close, Palantir is already sitting at a $363 billion valuation. That's more than a third of the way there. And get this, it's now only about $137 billion away from hitting a $500 billion market cap. That's not a dream anymore. That's within striking distance. And with the kind of momentum we're seeing, record highs, insane options activity, top-performing stock in the S&P, FedStart scaling, and new government contracts rolling in, it's not crazy to think Palantir could get there a lot sooner than people expect. This isn't some small-cap AI stock hoping to make waves. This is now a dominant force in U.S. tech and defense, actively reshaping how data, AI, and security work at the highest levels. The foundation is built. The traction is real. And if this kind of growth continues, $1 trillion isn't a question of if anymore, it's a question of when. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then make sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. And with that, something big just changed Palantir's story today. Palantir's next price might have been leaked today. No one really expected this. But here's the crazy part. One analyst pointed something out. Alex Karp and the developers might push something game-changing for Palantir. Is this the start of the dream rally for Palantir? Or is this something else? And why am I being so excited? Well, let me explain. Disclaimer. Palantir had a bit of a shake-up today. It dipped for a moment, caught some people off guard, but it didn't take long before it started climbing back up. It wasn't one of those dramatic plunges. It was more like a quick reset before pushing forward again. And here's where it gets really interesting. Even with that little hiccup, if you zoom out and look at the bigger picture, the stock is still riding high. Over the past week, it's been strong, gaining solid ground and keeping that momentum alive. What's even more impressive is the energy in the community. Investors aren't shaken, they're fired up. Confidence is running high because Palantir keeps proving itself as a powerhouse. People know what this company is capable of, and they see the long game. It's not just about a single day's movement. It's about the bigger trend, and that trend is pointing up. Every time Palantir faces a small pullback, it's met with even more buying pressure. That kind of resilience speaks volumes. The stock isn't just surviving these dips, it's using them as fuel. And here's the thing. One analyst took a close look at Palantir's chart and pointed out something interesting. He wasn't too thrilled about how today's candle closed under a key moving average, saying it's not the best look in the short term. But at the same time, the overall flow of money into the stock was leaning bullish, which shows there's still plenty of confidence. And here's where it gets even more intriguing. There's a strong trend line just a bit lower, acting as support. If Palantir drifts down a little more, it could actually set up a great buying opportunity for those looking to jump in at a solid level. Stochastics are starting to shift, hinting that there might be a bit more room for a pullback, but nothing that changes the bigger picture. And wait, I know. That sounds crazy, but hear me out. Something huge just came to light today, and when you connect the dots with Palantir's recent moves, it starts to look like they're gearing up for something massive. We're talking about the kind of development that could send Palantir's price soaring to new levels. And here's what's even crazier. Wall Street might have leaked something massive for Palantir's next, and no one expected it. Now, I can't spill all the details just yet, but trust me, you're going to want to. I'll break it all down later in the video, so make sure you stick around until the end. But first, let's hear about this odd but actually insane move by Palantir recently. In a recent interview, CIO Jim Siders dropped a bombshell. Palantir cut down its IT team by a huge amount. But instead of struggling, it's actually growing faster and running smoother than ever. And this isn't just about saving money. It's a bold move that shows how Palantir does things. Rather than relying on a giant IT department, they've woven their own AI-powered foundry platform directly into their business. No more slow, outdated systems. Everything is now lean, connected, and way more efficient. It's a total shift in how a company can operate, and it fits right into Palantir's culture of questioning everything and breaking old systems that don't work anymore. Siders even mentioned that an MIT professor once suggested ditching IT departments completely, and Palantir did it. Now, decisions get made faster, teams work more smoothly, and the company isn't weighed down by the usual bloat. Most companies are still stuck in the past with oversized IT teams, but Palantir is proving that cutting the extra layers doesn't mean losing power. It means getting smarter, faster, and way more agile. And here's where it gets even more exciting. Palantir's business is booming, pulling in massive revenue and gaining serious traction in the commercial world. While other companies are scrambling to figure out how to adapt to AI, Palantir is already ahead of the game. And for investors, this is bigger than just a company running more efficiently. It's a preview of the future, where AI-powered businesses operate leaner, make more money, and open up entirely new opportunities. But here's something crazier. Wall Street just dropped a massive. Goldman Sachs reiterated its neutral rating on Palantir. But here's where it gets wild. They slapped an $80 price target on it. Yeah, $80. That's lower than where it's trading right now, which might make raise an eyebrow. But let's break this down because there's more to the story. Goldman's team recently visited Palantir's New York office, met with some top execs, and got an inside look at the company's AI advancements. They walked away impressed, especially with Palantir's ontology, a system that basically stitches together messy, scattered data and turns it into something useful for decision-making. That's a huge deal for AI adoption because raw data alone is useless if companies can't actually apply it in situations. And Palantir has been ahead of the game on this for years. So why the neutral rating? Goldman says they're not sure how easy it'll be for businesses to build custom AI workflows in the future, and they're comparing Palantir's valuation to other software companies growing at a similar pace. Here's what they're missing. Palantir isn't just another software company. It's an AI powerhouse that's proving it can deliver real results fast, and enterprises are starting to realize that. Now let's talk about the stock. Palantir is trading above that $80 target, and that's a bullish sign. Why? Because the market clearly sees more potential than what Goldman is suggesting. Analysts set targets based on models, but price action tells the real story. And right now, investors aren't buying the idea that they're worth less. The demand is strong, and the long-term vision is what's driving it higher. So, despite the neutral rating, this Palantir. Wall Street is acknowledging its edge in AI. Businesses are catching on, and the stock is holding strong above their target. That's not a sign of weakness. That's proof that Palantir is ahead of the curve, and the market knows it. And here's the exciting part. When you look at the bigger picture, none of this short-term noise really matters. Palantir is constantly building, and that's what true higher over time. One analyst just broke down something insane about Palantir's recent partnerships and advancements. And it's all starting to make sense now. Palantir isn't just landing deals. It's planting its AI-powered flag in every major industry you can think of. Defense, healthcare, aviation, utilities, it's everywhere. And these aren't just small side projects. These are deep integration in entire industries. In defense, Palantir is helping with real-time data processing for military operations. In utilities, it's cutting through outdated processes to make things more efficient. Healthcare? It's speeding up drug trials. Aviation? It's streamlining production for futuristic aircraft. And with a heavyweight like Databricks, it's expanding AI adoption across even more sectors. But what does all this mean for the stock? It means Palantir isn't just another AI company. It's becoming the backbone of critical industries. These partnerships aren't just about landing new clients. They lock Palantir into long-term, high-value contracts that keep revenue flowing for years. Here's where it gets really crazy. Analysts have been throwing around the idea that Palantir could hit $250 in the future. At first, that might have sounded wild. But when you put everything together, it's not just possible. It's starting to look inevitable. If Palantir keeps locking in deals like these, expanding its AI influence, and embedding itself deeper into major industries, that kind of price target doesn't just seem realistic. It seems like the natural next step. And if that happens, the impact on others? Massive. And looking at the long-term price, there's really no need to stress. One in and made a solid point. Palantir haters might want to take a step back. The stock is sitting around $90, up a huge amount this year. And if you zoom out, the gains over the 5 years have been absolutely massive. Sure, short-term volatility is part of the ride. Palantir isn't one of those slow-moving, boring stocks. It moves fast. Sometimes that means sharp drops. But here's the thing. It always rewards long-term investors. That's just how the market works with great businesses, and Palantir is one of the best out there. At the end of the day, this is a company that keeps delivering. It's locking in major deals, expanding its AI reach across industry, and proving that it's built for the future. That's why the stock keeps climbing, and it's why investors who hold on through the noise end up winning big. So while some people stress over the dips, smart money knows the real play. Palantir long-term machine, and the market knows it. But what is your opinion on this? Comment down below. If you are curious to find more, then be sure to click on one of the videos you see on the screen. We come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed the video, then turn on the notifications bell on this channel. Missing an important Palantir ups money, so don't risk it. Also, please share this video with as many people as possible. Let's get this news out there.